Hi there YouTube. So, in front of me you can see two Lego and one not Lego versions of something which is really special to me, and that's Doctor Who. Now, if any of you guys will follow me from my old channel, Extreme Trains, I used to do a lot of stuff with these kind of figures, doing stop motions and all that kind of stuff. So that was really where I started on YouTube. That's why I bought a massive amount of this character building original Doctor Who building block style of toy. And so YouTube was one of the reasons I really got into this kind of type of toy. So this review is really something interesting that I like to look at. Now, I'm not going to be reviewing either of these sets individually. I did a really rubbish review, if you really want to go look at it and just laugh at how bad I was at reviewing, of this one on my old channel, Extreme Trains. And there are heaps of actual LEGO reviewers who do awesome jobs who review the Doctor Who set, which is official LEGO set from this year, on my right. So if you want to see a full-on in-depth review of that one, go ahead and check those reviews out. Instead, what I want to do is something which I don't think anyone else has done, is a comparison between these two sets and see both for play value and for money value, and even just collector, like what a fan wants, which one of these sets comes out on top. The answer might surprise you. So, what are you waiting for? Even if you don't like Doctor Who, or even if you don't like LEGO, surely this will be something you'll be interested in, because what it comes down to is which one gives you more bang for your buck. Alright guys, let's do it. So the first thing I wanted to have a look at quickly was the box sizes. Now, for some reason I kept the box for this set. I don't really know why, but for this review, good thing I did. You can see that the box for the character building TARDIS is infinitely larger than the one for the LEGO Doctor Who TARDIS. I mean, it's almost like double the size. And that to me is really interesting, because if you look at the piece count we've got written here, 665 pieces in the big set, compared to the around 650 pieces that are in this set. So they both have a similar piece count. But what we're going to soon find out is that that doesn't necessarily translate to actual play features or the size of the set. So, interestingly, both boxes carry the same amount of pieces, but not the same amount of bricks. So that's just something I thought was interesting. I also think they did a much nicer job of this box, personally, because you've got big picture of the TARDIS, all the features down there. You've got really nice, all the sides are covered in details about who's in there, you know, what play features you have. You've got nice big pictures here. You've got a little bio right here, which I think is really good and really exciting, you know, for helping parents or helping other people decide if they actually want to add the set to their collection, all that kind of stuff. This box infinitely trumps the decidedly plain official LEGO one, which I believe is in the new style of the Doctor Who merchandise. I'm not up to date with Doctor Who merchandise, just the show these days, because they don't make these ones anymore. You can see it is quite plain. You know, it does show you the play features, but they're not super. There's not a lot of words on there. It's mostly graphics. So I think this box is a little bit more exciting. But anyway, enough about the boxes. Let's go into the actual sets themselves. So, just to refresh your memory, in case either you couldn't understand or couldn't see what was going on in my really rubbish original review of this, or you're new to my channel since then, or you've never seen this before in your life, this is the character building set. What it came with was, as you can see, everything you see here. You've got this whole TARDIS interior. I'm just turning it around so you get an idea of what you've got. Oops, sorry, arm in the way. You also got one of the a TARDIS like exterior, which was also sold as an individual set, but you've got one of those included in this set. You got this little outdoor landscapey, alien landscape, I think is what they called it. Just turning around so you get an idea of what it actually looked like all the way around. And that's what this set came with. On top of that, you got four figures. You got the Rory Williams figure in the back, the Amy Pond figure, which were the two current companions in the show. You got the 11th version of the Doctor, which at the time of production was the Doctor that was featured in the show, so that was accurate. And you also got River Song, who's kind of like a returning character slash companion. It's complicated. Spoilers if you haven't watched the show. Anyway, so you can see this set actually had like quite a lot of size and had quite a lot of things that you could do. For, you know, the fact that it did include something which was available as a standalone set. It did include characters, you know, that were vital to the set and that were really important. Compare this to this Doctor Who set, which you can see is a lot smaller. In this one, what you get is just, move this all out of the way, so let's spin it around. You get just the very center console of the TARDIS. I can just spin it around. You get nothing on the outside. You do get a removable TARDIS, which is this door part here, which does come off and act as a standalone toy. Watch a review if you want to see how that works out. So you do get, again, a TARDIS and a console, but you can see the console is much more scaled down, much more compact, and much more, centered in. In this set, you also actually get some amount of conflict. So not only do you get the 12th Doctor here, you get the Clara Oswald, which was the current companion up until the end of Series 9. Spoilers! And then you also get the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith, which is the same one as it was in the character building one, so I'll be doing a comparison video of those shortly. You also got 2 brick-built Daleks, which I'll do another comparison of with the character building ones as well. So you got some conflict, and you also got a Weeping Angel, which is also another enemy from the show, which again I'll be doing more comparisons with, just so you get an idea about what the different brick companies have brought to the Doctor Who line. So this one actually comes with more characters, but that said, the Lego one, at the time of this making this video, has only got 1 Doctor Who set and then 2 Lego Dimensions sets. So unlike character building, which actually had a range of figures, I think 2 waves of these style of figures in blind bags, much like Lego minifigures, before this set came out. So you could get villains, you could get enemies. There was also, a Dalek spaceship, a Cyberman spaceship, all that kind of stuff. So although this one didn't come with any enemies, they were much more readily available. Whereas at the time of making this video, at the time of this set's release, the only way to get these villains is to actually buy this set. So I don't know if this really gives you any more value than the other set. It just happens that that's the way they're selling these items. One quick thing to note on the characters was that they were all somewhat exclusive. So in this set, if you've been paying really close attention, I switched out my river song because I had the wrong river song in the set. The Doctor and Amy that were included in this set were different to the ones that released in the first wave of minifigures, although they did reappear later in other sets and other waves of minifigures. And Roar and River Song had only just been released in the blind bag minifigures. So this is one of the first places that you could get the figures that are in this set. So I do like it when sets include some element of exclusivity with their figures, but I also like it when they're perfectly capable of standing on their own. For example, none of these ones are wearing particularly garish outfits. It's not like one of them is dressed in bright yellow or something. That I'm not a fan of, but some level of exclusivity is nice for rewarding those who go out and spend the big bucks. This set, now as I said, there's not a lot of Doctor Who Lego stuff, period, at the moment, but you do get a different version of the 12th Doctor's outfit. So this one is the purple one. It looks blue on camera, but it's purple. The purple overcoat version, which is not the standard that he wears in the show. He just wore it for 1 episode. So the one you get in Lego Dimensions is the one you're going to have to buy if you want the standard outfit of the 12th Doctor. And then the Daleks, or the Dalek I should say singular, that's included in the Dalek level pack, which is going to come out early next year for Lego Dimensions, is actually have a different build and a different design to this one. So that's kind of nice. So yeah, there are some exclusive figures in this, but obviously none of these other ones have been released outside of this set, so I can't really say too much more on that. In terms of play features, these sets are pretty evenly matched, I think. In this, you don't really have a lot of built-in play features. You do have the screen which spins around, and you had the if I just bring this over here, 2 levers which you could kind of push up and down. As I explained earlier, you had included this TARDIS which can be removed, as I can show you right now. Removed like so, doors open and close like that. They were just about all really the built-in play features that this set had. But obviously the fact that you had this landscape meant you could play out some alien scenes, and the fact that you have so much room to move around. You've got all this under area to place a figure. It's tall enough so that a figure can fit underneath there quite comfortably. You've got a lot of different staircases. You've got 1, 2, and then 3 going down the back there. Can't really see it, but now you can. Going down the back there from the door, staircases. You also got this area here, which although it was smooth and tiled, so you couldn't actually use like the little pegs to secure a figure, you could stand a figure there and play around with them. So I think this set had quite a lot of play area, even if it didn't have a lot of play features. Coming over to the official Doctor Who set, it's quite a different story. As you can see, The actual size of the set is very, very small, and there's not a whole lot of play area to actually be had. Now, in fairness, there are different designs of TARDIS. This is the 12th Doctor's, or this is actually very late 11th Doctor's TARDIS, which is something I'll get to in a second, compared to that being the early 11th Doctor's TARDIS. So it is a different design, but that said, you can see that there's very little going on outside of just the main centre console. You've got these fence pieces, which are securing a set of stairs that don't really go anywhere. They go, you know, off into outer space or off into your imagination, but there's nothing actually there for a kid to play with. You've got this small amount of boardway here from where the doors of the TARDIS, you know, open up into the inside of the ship. And then you've got this kind of part in the middle here where you can place your figures around, which is nice because it's got these studs on it, so you can really stick a figure down, they're not going to move around. But that's kind of it. There aren't really any levers or anything in this one. You can probably, like, you know, you can kind of use this as a lever, which I think is what it's supposed to be. And you can kind of move the screens up and down a little bit, along with the fact that this is designed so you can pick it up by the middle and whoosh it around, and like this, so you can whoosh it around. Now this obviously comes down, but you can shake this and it can fly, which was something I believe was explicitly a design feature, where obviously you can't pick up the other one and whoosh it through outer space. And then, as I've, you know, already explained, this, whoops, sorry Matt Smith, killed you there, does come off as like the other one, comes together like so. You do get a separate TARDIS which you can also whoosh around, so, but no opening doors on this one. So in terms of play features, I think they're pretty evenly matched, though I think a kid will feel like they've got better value for money with this, just because it's a bigger set. It gives them more stuff to build, more stuff to play with in terms of space, and kind of a bit more of a setting. So I think it's better if you want to do stop motions to pick this one, because you actually got walls, you got 3 walls built in, whereas this one you have nothing. So the final thing I actually want to look at with these is now realism. So from a collector's perspective, which one plays the part? This original character building set was pretty, you know, accurate to the old TARDIS design. Some of the colours were a little bit off, and things weren't exactly in the right place, but a lot of the main features were there, such as the staircases going up and down, such as the centre console with the yellow and all the bits and pieces. I mean, the bits and pieces weren't accurate, but bits and bobs all over the place. The screen that could be spun around like this, having this kind of area here with the smooth tiling, and that seat, and all that kind of stuff. So although it wasn't, you know, exactly scale accurate, it was, you know, it did contain all the major features and major functions of the TARDIS, you know, that was around at that time. So for me, this was actually quite a nice display model and did a pretty accurate job of capturing what the TARDIS looked like. Moving around to the mini TARDIS, which was included, this was quite nice, I thought. I thought that the way they did this one, as you can see, I've pulled out half the base, but anyway, this was quite a nice TARDIS. I said that in my original reviews. It looks good, it had a nice scale to it. This sticker was always problematic to me because of how dark it was compared to everything else, but the overall colour of the set was right. It just looked really, really nice, and the fact that it had doors that opened into a, admittedly it was a fake interior, but an interior all the same, was nice and gave it just a little bit more, you know, bigger on the inside kind of feel. So I thought overall for realism, this one did a pretty darn good job at, you know, making a collector happy if they wanted something that was representative of what you would find in the actual TV show. This set's more problematic for me on multiple levels. Now, yes, as I've already explained, this set has a lot of really nice details going on. For example, if I'll just zoom in here so you can see. The consoles are rendered really, really nicely. They've got a lot more attention to detail than in the character building TARDIS. The big problem with this, though, is that this set is based off a particular episode called Time of the Doctor. That episode is almost 2 years old now, or it is 2 years old now. It came out at the end of 2013. It's now the end of 2015. So, at the time of the release of this set, it didn't accurately reflect the way the TARDIS looked for the current version of the Doctor. The current version of the Doctor, among other things, the main thing that was wrong is that this is now an orangey yellow colour, not blue. So blue was featured when this guy was in charge. He has now been replaced with this guy, and it has turned to kind of a more orangey red. Now, the impact of that is less obvious because it doesn't have any of the walls, because the walls actually changed somewhat significantly. But to me, it's still problematic that they released a set in 2015 that is somewhat meant to be modern, because it does include the just left companion and the current Doctor, but they didn't update the TARDIS to reflect the new version. So I know what they were going for, but honestly, they didn't need to do that, and so to me, this is always going to be a little bit problematic because it doesn't represent the actual TARDIS at the time it was released. Similarly, this TARDIS, although it looks very Lego, is wrong on a lot of levels. First of all, it's not at all to scale to the figures. As you can see, it's practically ginormous. I'm just going to put him there so you can see. Like, it's huge compared to how big the figures are. It absolutely dwarfs the other one, so it's definitely not to scale. So using it as a display piece, like that, is not going to work, which it did work with character building ones. Moreover, if you're someone who likes to do stop motions, this doesn't have any opening doors. Like, come on guys, you can't have a Lego or any TARDIS that doesn't have opening doors. So to me, that's really, really problematic. I mean, yeah, it has the cool gimmick of this, which I think is, very, very clever, very, very cleverly done. Like, it's very, very cool the way they've done that, and it actually has enough space so you can put him in here and close this up. But, this is not the way the TARDIS actually works, and these two strips here are the most we get of the walls of the TARDIS. So I much prefer the execution of the character building one in the fact that it just has a whole TARDIS, builds a wall around it, and you kind of have to suspend your disbelief that one leads into the other. Whereas this, although it's cool because the TARDIS literally opens up, it means you don't have those really, it means A, it's too big, it's just ridiculously large to incorporate this gimmick. And B, it just means that it doesn't have opening doors, and that to me is just quite problematic. And I don't know, maybe you guys would disagree, but no, that's not doing it for me. In terms of realism, I'm going to go later into depth as well. I don't think these look anywhere near as good as the character building ones, but I'll talk about those in another review. And I'm kind of not really sold on the way they've done the LEGO minifigure versions of these. So, in terms of realism, I think the character building one does come out on top. So I've covered a lot of other stuff in this review, but the last thing that is probably on all of your minds, and something that's always on my mind, is price. Now, people are probably going to call me out here for being unfair, but I'm trying to do this in the fairest way possible from the perspective of someone who lives in Australia, and that's where they, buy all their toys from. So, this set was $180 full recommended retail price from a physical store in Australia. This set, because LEGO is a massive poo and doesn't have an official LEGO store in Australia, was $80 online, but because there's no LEGO store, and because LEGO in some bizarre world in which they live, they charge you shipping based on cost, not on size, which to me is ludicrous, and the most absolutely outrageous thing they could have done meant that this had $30 worth of shipping, even though the box, as you can see, was tiny, tiny, tiny. I pay less to get boxes of mouth and ship from Germany, right? I mean, this does ship from somewhere in the Netherlands, I think. But either way, that's not the point. The fact I had to pay $30 shipping for such a small set means this set was $110, and that's how much I'm going to be looking at it in this review, because for someone in Australia to buy it, that's how much they're going to pay for it, if they want to buy it through an official licensed channel the same way I did that. So when this is $110 and this is $180, which one do you think is better value? Personally, I think the character building one actually wins out. Although, as I said in my review, it is somewhat flimsy in places, it does have tendency to fall apart. Kids kind of love that stuff. I mean, I don't mind it. It's Lego. It comes apart. You put it back together again. That's the whole way it works. That's the idea. That one is a lot more realistic. It had a lot more, kind of play area, play zone. I felt like I was getting, closer to $180. I mean, still not that much, but, closer to that value with that larger set. Whereas this one is nicely detailed and everything, but for someone who wants to make stop motions, it's really, really kind of frustrating because it means it doesn't have any walls, so I have to either build them or just have, black space, which doesn't look anywhere near as appealing for someone as a viewer. And it also just had a lot of scale problems. This was the wrong size, didn't have functions that it wanted, this was the wrong colour, wasn't well designed. So I think for $110, you're not getting as much toy, even if it's nicer detailed, than maybe the larger set is. And there were just too many things that were just a little bit off with it to make it worth that price. For the actual asking price of $80, yeah, this guy is really, really good. Do I think that the Lego one is a bad set? No, of course not. I think it's a really awesome set, and I'm praying that Lego is going to do more Doctor Who stuff in the future, because I do think they do some really, really nice stuff in the way that character building never could. But when I'm comparing the two sets that already exist right now at the very end of 2015, I think the character building one is the one to pick up, particularly because I know now that, especially in like the UK, you can get this set for like £25-30 on Amazon if it's still available, or on eBay. And, you know, for that price, you can't go wrong, when this is like £60 or £70, I think. Maybe not that much. Something like £50, I'm not sure. But, like, this one is way cheaper now than this one, and this one is going to give you a lot more bang for your buck. So, yeah, you guys let me know what you think. I don't know, maybe you don't care about the money as much as I do. Maybe you prefer just buying official Lego stuff because it's official Lego stuff, not, you know, other clone kind of brands. I don't know, guys, that's my thoughts on this set. I hope this has given you some insight into the world of Doctor Who building stuff. And, as always, thanks for watching. Do those cool things to do on YouTube. That's all we've got time for. This is Extreme Trains.